Hi, welcome to my latest video. Today I'm out here in the lovely autumn sunshine. It's September 2025, the end of September. I'm going to do a quick vlog video. This is vlog number 8, and just fill you in on what I've been doing lately, what I've got coming up for the rest of the year, and any other kind of news and announcements. I try and do these videos every month or two, and I try to keep them short. I think so far the shortest one was probably about 30 minutes. Okay, so I will try to beat that record today. I've got a lot to cover as usual. I've got my car boot sale table here with a load of parts on it. I've got bags and boxes here. I've got the engine bay open, and I'm going to try and do this in one take. No umming and ahhing, no forgetting my lines, no stumbling, no pausing. Okay, so I am going to try to crack on through all of the things I need to talk about. So first things first, my web store, my shop, where I sold all the parts that I made on my 3D printer, that is now closed. Okay, that's gone. My website's still there, but the shop is closed, and I have moved my parts and lots of other second-hand bits and things like that onto eBay. Okay, so I've got a few parts left, things like air horn mounting brackets. Okay, so I've got a new design of those actually with a these used to be cast in polyurethane. They're now printed, and by putting a little kind of gap here, that's a sort of springy clip. Okay, so that should come out of there. He says, come on, it's stiff. Okay, it does fit in there very firmly, but you can remove that and get to the fuse box if you need to. Okay, so air horn mounts, intercooler hose protection clips, and lots of other bits and bobs like scuttle alignment things to stop the scuttle kind of dropping and opening a gap at the bottom of the windscreen. They're all on eBay, okay, along with loads and loads of other things. Okay, so spare parts and things I've bought for projects and either not used or never got around to doing the project. I'm just having a bit of a clear out. Okay, so Mrs. Pitts wants to turn the summer house into a gym. I think she just wants an exercise bike or something in there, but at the moment it's full of all my car stuff. Most of this was stored there, and there's the printers and my wine fridge and various other things in there. Okay, along with a small sofa for Kitty and Pit Lane Peanut to sleep on if they want to. Okay, so that's all got to be cleared, and it's going to be tidied up and turned into some sort of fitness centre. Okay, so what it means is all my stuff kind of has to go somewhere. I haven't quite figured that one out at the moment. There's some stuff in the spare bedroom, there's things in the back of my car, but really I think I've just got to kind of have a bit of a sort out and a bit of a clear out and get rid of a lot of things. Okay, it also means that I've got to get on with the projects, okay, which I have been dragging my heels a little bit on. There was a flurry of activity in the summer. I had the MOT in August and it passed, no problem. Never failed an MOT with this car. 200,000 miles, it's remarkable really, but I do look after it. Okay, so before every MOT there's always that sort of load of extra work that I have to do. I had to replace my lower arm on this side, still got to do the driver's side one, the UK driver's side, that one, and a brake pipe and brake calipers and braided hoses. There was a lot to do, but it was worth the effort. The car passed, no problem. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit more about eBay. I will be selling second-hand parts and limited stock. Okay, so I have been actually getting some of my 3D printed items sort of outsourced. LED bulb clips and clips for intercoolers, and what else? Headlight rods as well. I've been getting some of those outsourced, some to Pakistan and also to a company down in Devon called Henley 3D Print, and excellent quality from both of those printing companies. Okay, so it does cost a bit more. Okay, so prices may have to rise slightly. I've already put my headlight rods up from £10 for a pair to 12, and then the black ones that I had to outsource I think they're now at 15. Okay, so I've got to try and make a profit on this. I tend to sort of work out how much it costs to get it printed, and then I'll sort of kind of double that and sell. I can't really do this at a loss. Okay, but the problem with eBay is, whilst there is a much wider audience, and that's really good because there's more people sort of viewing eBay than viewing my web shop, the fees are extortionate. Okay, so eBay charge, I think it's probably about 10 to 15%. It's about 10%, I think, to list something and sell on it, and then if you want to promote your listing and sort of advertise it and draw more viewers in, more sort of people who may want to buy it, then they charge like another 10 to 15% on top of that. So very, very roughly a quarter of the money that I sell something for goes to eBay, and then I have to post it. Okay, so it seems to be the done thing on eBay that you kind of just do free postage. Okay, that's just what everybody does, so I'll do the same. I offer things free postage. I have to pay the postage, I have to pay the fees. If I'm not careful, I'm not going to make any money out of this. I'm actually just going to do it at a loss. Okay, so I have to be very careful with the pricing. So if you see prices of anything go up, that's why. It's not just me being greedy. Okay, I'm trying to sort of run this kind of self-funded. The whole idea here is that the money I get from selling the parts pays for new parts to do videos and projects on the car. I don't actually take anything from myself. Okay, so it's all ploughed back into the car. So postage as well. At the moment, I'm doing most things UK postage only. There is a sort of, what do they call it, some sort of international seller postage thing that eBay do, where you can actually send things abroad but at sort of local prices. So I kind of post it to some sort of distribution centre, and then they do the onward bit overseas. So I'll kind of look into that, and maybe for smaller, lighter things I'll try and do that. Okay, so yeah, so free postage. eBay just gives me a bit more control over everything. I can sort of take time out and do a bit of a pause of selling if it all gets too much, or I go on holiday or something like that. And also it sort of allows me to just list the things that I want to sell at the moment. Okay, so I don't have this huge inventory of stock that I've got to kind of maintain, because that was what was causing the problem before. It was just all getting a bit too much, really. There was just so many things, boxes and boxes of printed items, and yeah, it was just spending about an hour each day kind of packaging up and sending things. Okay, so it's all going to be done at a much smaller scale, and if you want a particular part and it's not available at the moment, just be patient. I will try to get round to doing some of the other parts, but I'll sort of be tackling them kind of one at a time. Things that I'm not going to be doing more of are things like roof mounts, the polyurethane parts, okay, lift spacers, roof light bar brackets. I've got a few strobes and spotlight mounts, I think, for the Discovery, but none for the Freelander 2. When they're gone, they're gone. It's just too much hassle to do those, really. Buying in the LED strobe units and wiring them up and putting in the threaded inserts and everything like that, and the super glued kind of stainless dowels and all that. It's a lot of work, and I just don't have time to do that anymore. Okay, so I'm going to keep things simple. But one of the other good things about eBay is I can sell off kind of second-hand used parts as well as new parts, which I never really did with my shop. Okay, so that is my store, and that has now come to an end. Talking of other things that have come to an end, my membership with the 4x4 Response has now come to an end, and I do need to remove my numbers. I've already removed the other sticker from the back of the car. This is a little bit of a sensitive subject. I'll be a bit careful what I say. I did a vlog a few months ago, and I mentioned about the incident at Carfest that I'd made a complaint about. That didn't go down well. I was asked to edit the video, and I came to an agreement with the vice president of the 4x4 group that I would edit that in exchange for them taking my complaint seriously and taking appropriate action. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Really, it didn't happen. I mean, the Vice President was trying to kind of fight my side, but the rest of the committee and management team just basically decided to let it go, really. I mean, I'm the complainant. Surely it's my decision if I let something go. But anyway, it was let go. No action was taken, and it left me feeling a bit disheartened and, to be honest, a bit unwelcome, really. And then the final straw, really, was went on holiday recently, week before last, and went to Madeira. Very nice. Finally had a bit of a break, and I came back to an email from the sort of chief controller, basically saying your membership has expired, and that's it. You're out. Okay, so let me just read out what they said. It was a little bit sort of sudden and brutal, and you need to renew soon, and here's a friendly reminder that your membership's expired. No, it was like, I will read it out. Your membership ended yesterday and your account has been closed. Remove any stickers from your vehicle. You are no longer a member of the group and you do not qualify for any of the benefits. So that's things like fuel card and blue light card and things like that. Okay, so that's it. I'm out. I've been banished. So, yeah. Okay, thanks guys. As it happens, I wasn't actually really planning to renew anyway. I've been giving this a bit of thought lately, as well as the thing with Carfest, which I'm not going to go into. I just don't have the time for doing voluntary work, really. It's a lot of time and effort. The weekends are so precious. I hardly have time to come out here and work on the car. And now that the weather's starting to get colder and wetter and damper and darker, it's just not working for me. I can't give the time that they need. I've done my bit. I did loads of events. I volunteered for several years, helping out, and it's someone else's turn now, really. So I'm more than happy to step out of it and let that one go. Okay. Anyway, enough about 4x4 response. So talking of things kind of going a bit pear-shaped, Jaguar Land Rover, they're having a tough time at the moment, aren't they? Today, I think it was today or yesterday, they announced the government were going to give them a loan of £1.5 billion to try to keep things going in the wake of the cyber attack that struck Jaguar Land Rover recently. And I just really wanted to say on my vlog that best wishes for anybody who is kind of caught up in that, not just the employees of Jaguar Land Rover, the people who make the parts, the suppliers, people who run garages and businesses servicing Land Rovers. They want to fit genuine parts. They can't get the parts. And there are many who I follow on Instagram and Facebook, and they must be really struggling. I actually bought recently some of these, which were the strips, okay, which go around here, these funny strip things. I couldn't get hold of them. I'd actually bought them online, and then I got an email from the company, whoever it was, saying we just can't get the parts from Land Rover. Okay, so they're really struggling to get these genuine Land Rover parts at the moment. I hope things sort themselves out. I hope this isn't the end of Jaguar Land Rover. That would be pretty awful, really. So I just hope whatever the heck is going on gets sorted out as soon as possible. Okay, shows, events. Didn't really do that many this year. Did Bewley, and I think that was about it. I didn't go to the Belvoir, didn't do Gaydon. I am going to go to the Newbury 4x4 Auto Jumble on Sunday next weekend. Okay, that's always a good one. Loads and loads of parts. Not so many parts for the Freelander 2, but I've been for the last few years, and whilst most of the parts are for Defenders and Series Land Rovers, increasingly you do see people selling Freelander 2-bits, so hopefully that's going to get sort of better and better as these vehicles age and more of them are broken down for spares. So let's talk a little bit about recent projects. Okay, so before my MOT, I did my brakes, front brakes. Okay, so you can see my nice Boy Racer orange calipers. Now, interestingly, I saw a new Defender the other day, black wheels, orange calipers. I've started something. Well, maybe I copied them, I don't know, but other cars have got the same. Okay, it's not just me with me glow in the dark calipers. All right, so it's a thing. It looks good on a new Defender. I was a bit worried about these. I thought, God, they're just going to be so bright. It's going to look really, really silly with bright orange calipers, but I think it looks really good, actually. I'm really, really pleased I did that. So here are the vented not cross-drilled, dimpled and grooved rear discs. Okay, so I fitted new front discs, very similar EBC discs to the front. I did those back in August. You can see they're nice and shiny, working well. The calipers are not quite as brightly coloured as they used to be. They're starting to get a little bit of brake dust on them, but that's fine. When I kind of wash the car, I stick the sponge in there and wash that off, and that's fine. These pads are Pagid pads. Okay, so I've tried Brembo, I've tried Mintex, I've tried EBC, and these ones, if you haven't tried Pagid, there's the new handbrake shoes. If you've not tried Pagid, give them a go. Okay, give them a go. They're really grippy. I was really, really impressed. Put them on and sort of went for a drive, expecting no brakes for the first few miles, and they were really grabby. And they don't even have that special grabby coating that some pads have. These are just the normal pad material. On brand new discs, straight away, grabbed like anything. Really, really good. And they still grab. It wasn't just the first few miles. I mean, they've just continued to work really well. You can see here, okay, so I've done a few hundred miles since I last washed the car. Little bit of brake dust, not much. Not much, okay, so I've last washed the car probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and a little bit of brake dust on the calipers there, but the wheels are not sort of caked in that sticky black sooty brake dust, which the EBCs in particular I found really bad for that. The Brembos weren't much better really. They just seem to just generate so much dust. But these Pagid ones they work well and they don't make much dust. So if you haven't tried them, give them a go. They're really, really good. So did complete front brake overhaul. Had an absolute nightmare on this side because I was fitting, as well as new discs and calipers and pads and everything, I was fitting some nice stainless braided Goodrich hoses. Okay, and that side went on fine. This side, when I went to undo the hard brake line, it twisted, damaged the brake line. Absolute disaster. So I had to buy, actually bought two, fitted one. This is the other one, okay, so this is actually the hard brake line, alright. So if you need one of those, let me know. This is a really awkwardly shaped thing to kind of post, but the minute I get a suitable long wide box, I will put this on eBay. But if you need one sooner, if you're in the Hampshire area and you need one of those, get in touch, alright, because I don't really want much for it really. It wasn't expensive, but it's an awkward thing to sort of sell and post, you see, so I would rather somebody just came and picked it up actually. So if you need one of those, come round and pick it up. If it's still here in a couple of weeks, it'll be going on eBay. So what else have we got on the table here? So one of the things I did whilst the brake pipe, because I had to take all this out, including the inner or out, the firewall thing, the panel there, inner firewall, I don't know what it's actually called, bulkhead. I had to take that out, get right down there, run the new brake line, and I had to take out that horrible black plastic kind of turbo ducty thing, which was sort of leaking oil everywhere and making a right mess. So I took that out, threw that in the bin, and replaced it with a lovely blue silicone with a bit of pipe there. So there's a video on that. That is working really well. It might be my imagination, but the car just feels better. There's no hesitance, it's smooth and powerful, and I don't think there's any sort of increase in noise or anything like that, but it just seems to work better. The car definitely feels sort of smoother and more responsive with that setup. Okay, so that goes straight down into the turbo, so there's none of that big bellows thing at the bottom and the awful joint that used to leak oil. All this mess here is all from that funny joint there where the old duct kind of connected, and even when I replaced it with this, it still used to leak, and then it would leak down onto the turbo, and it was a right mess underneath there, just all this black oil all under the engine. Since I fitted that, there's no oil leaking. Okay, so here where I park, there's a lot of oil staining from previous oil leaks, and also where I wash the wheels and things, but no new drips. That's water. There's a 1, 2, that's water. No oil is dripping. I think I finally cured my oil leaks, and those oil leaks were never actually coming from the sump or the gearbox or the engine or anything. They were actually coming from that duct. It was going down, and then where it joined on the turbo, it was leaking. It was leaking up here, and it was also leaking down the bottom, and it's this horrible black oil that kind of comes up from the blow-by gas and then goes back into the intake. Even though I've got a catch can, which does catch quite a lot of this. Now, I had 2 of the brackets, right, for this, and I've sold them both. Okay, if you would like one, let me know, and I can get some more outsourced. I got about 50 of them made about a year ago. I slowly kind of sold them. They've all gone now, but this catch can is really good. This is a Masso catch can. It's very similar to the Provent 200. The Provent 200 is about 100 and something pounds, and the Masso is about 40 quid. So not a lot of difference really. I mean, purists would argue the Provent is far superior because it's the genuine item, but this is the cheap Chinese copy, and it works just as well really. So as well as this bit here, I've 3D printed a support clip clampy bit there, like a sort of just a retaining clip to keep that away from this thing. I think it's like an air con filling thing, and then I've made a little round smooth plastic thing to go around that, because when I first fitted this it was starting to kind of rub into the hose, and I didn't want it making a hole through. So that's fine now, that's all in there. Got my fuel hose support clampy bracket. They're on my eBay site. I got a load of them made up. Okay, so I've got about 50 of them made. Got about 15 left. That is taking the world by storm. When I look at the statistics of my eBay listings, headlight rods and things like that, scuttle pals, I get, I don't know, 20 views, 30 views. This, 340 views. Okay, everybody wants one of those, and yeah, can you believe it? This is something that I've not bothered actually making all these years. I thought about doing it, and I didn't bother because I thought nobody's going to be interested in that. Who wants this sort of clampy thing here when a cable tie works just as well? But no, everybody does want one of those, okay, because it looks pretty cool. It's a lot neater than a flimsy old cable tie on there really. It actually holds these pipes really solid. Okay, so if you want one of those, I've got 15 left. I'll probably get some more made up when they're done. Same for the air horn mounts. Okay, so this used to be made out of polyurethane, mainly because 3D printed would just snap, but by putting a little line there, that bit is then springy and it actually works really well. Okay, so what else have we got here? Let's just have a quick look. So I talked about the brake lines, I talked about the calipers, brake disc, brake pipe, turbo hose, lower arm I did. What a nightmare job that was. All because I couldn't separate the ball joint. Okay, so this is the new ball joint that was on the new arm that I fitted, and I couldn't separate the taper. Okay, so I had to drill out the old rivety things and then reuse the old ball joint with the new arm, and all in all it took me about 8 or 9 hours out here in the blazing sun. It wasn't pleasant. Okay, now the weather is starting to change now. I mean, we've had the hottest year on record, I think, or something like that. We keep breaking records here in the UK. I think this year was the hottest year on average. The second driest, I think it was the driest since the famous summer of '76. I mean, the Bevis Pitts Botanical Garden has kind of sprung back to life here, but it nearly died. Okay, Kitty's water bowl was getting a bit low. She wasn't happy either. Okay, so I was out here with the hose, watering the plants, watering the cat's water bowls, and then I think we got hose pipe banned, so that was it. And then luckily at that point, end of August, it all changed and it started pouring with rain. The village duck pond's still low, still haven't fully filled up. A lot of fish died and the ducks were really furious actually. So yeah, so where am I going with that? So I was out here in the blazing sun doing that arm, and I got that done, and it passed the MOT, because that was the only advisory in the last MOT, was that arm over there needed doing because this bush in here was worn. Okay, so this is the other arm. I will do that at some point, and I've bought myself a new ball joint splitter, even bigger one than the one I had before, which didn't really fit. Okay, so I bought a great big kind of industrial strength one now. Okay, so I'm going to have another go at that soon and see if I can get the ball joint separated, because I would like to run this mainly because it's nice to put a nice new ball joint on there. The other ones have done nearly 200,000 miles, probably a little bit worn, even though they're not actually being flagged on the MOT. It would just be nice to be able to change them. But also these ones are the male M-E-Y-L-E male uprated ball joints, so they're even stronger than the factory items. Not sure if the actual arm is stronger or the bushes. I like to think that the bush rubber is sort of a bit more stiffer than normal, but that was a real hard, difficult job, that one. Talking of difficult jobs, I still haven't done my diff. Alright, the diff, I'm getting a lot of emails from you saying, when are you going to finish your diff? Right, so the diff is there, still sat there, right? The lovely bright orange paint on it, still sat there, still haven't done it, and I will resume that at some point very soon. I just need to get the other arm and the ball joint sorted. I need to do the rear brakes, and I need to do a couple of other bits on the engine, and then I'm going to resume the Haldex and rear diff. Okay, so in the last video for that a few months ago, I took apart a Gen 3 Haldex. There's the bits left over. Most of the parts went in the bin because they were damaged. These bits are all spare and are in reasonable condition. Okay, so if you're rebuilding a Gen 3 Haldex, keep a lookout on eBay, because I'll just dump this lot on eBay as a job lot. Okay, don't want anything for it really, just, I don't know, just cover the postage basically. And then in here, carefully put that down without damaging it. In here are all the bits from the 2 Gen 4 Haldexes. Okay, so this is the Gen 4 Haldexes that I stripped down, and they all came apart quite easily compared to the Gen 3. Was a nightmare to get apart because it was so old and seized up. So here we have all the sintered plates and things. Now I've got new ones of these, they're all in here. Okay, we've got a new pump, and what have we got in here? I won't get all of this out, okay, because I've done videos before. We've got new sintered plates, new bearings, new seals, and in here we've got a new pump. Okay, so that is all to be finished off at the earliest opportunity. Okay, I haven't forgotten, my diff is still whining, I need to get on and get that done. Okay, so over the next few weekends going to be careful with the weather because it's starting to get darker and wetter and colder. But I've got to just get out here, really. Just get out here and get on and get that done. Talking of long projects that I still haven't finished, the Webasto heater that is in here. It's fitted, the hoses are there, the fuel pump's there, little fuel tank here, the exhaust is rigged, but I don't have the electronics to run it, okay? So 2 weeks ago, when I was lying on a sunbed in Madeira, finally having a well-earned break and trying to switch off and not think about cars, I ended up designing a Webasto controller. Okay, so various diagrams here, wiring diagrams. It looks a bit of a rat's nest, but don't worry, it'll all make sense when I actually build it. Here's the box I'm going to use. I did have a metal box, and then I suddenly thought, oh, hang on, it's operated by radio, isn't it, with a remote control? If I put everything in a metal box, it probably won't be able to get the signal. Okay, so I bought a plastic box, and I'm in there. I'm going to put like a little fuse thing like this. It's quite a nice little sort of bus bar thing with fuses, and it even has LEDs to tell you which fuses are blown. Okay, because here on my diagram I've got basic power coming in, I've got fuses, because a lot of things need fusing. The fuel pump, water pump, the blower feed to turn the blowers on, and the actual Webasto itself, the actual heater, that pulls a good 10-15 amps. Okay, so it all needs fusing, and the current that these various things draw is all different, you see. So the only way to do it is with lots of different fuses. I also want to have some LED kind of gauges here. So this is going to be a little bit back to the future-ish. We're going to have sort of, time circuits on. This is where you were, this is where you are, this is where you're going. Different temperatures showing the water temperature before and after the Webasto, and then the voltage of the leisure battery, which will be running the Webasto via one of those kind of smart relay things, because you can't run it off the main battery, otherwise you'll warm the car up and then you won't have any battery charge left to actually start the starter motor, start the engine. So it all needs a lot of thinking about. Pit Lane Kitty is going to be helping me, and she's got some really good ideas actually about how to wire things up and how to make it all work. I need to get that done soon. We haven't had any frosts yet, but give it a couple of weeks, it's going to be cold, and then I will have a problem. A new battery, and the car starts reasonably well, but I have had a few issues when it's around about sort of 2 to 3 degrees. It's not cold enough to turn the glow plugs on, but the car can sometimes sort of fire and then die straight away, and I don't know what really causes that. It just does it, really. Last spring, even though I had a new battery, even though I had new glow plugs, it wouldn't quite fire, and you have to try it a few times and then it will eventually fire up. So what I'm going to do as a little hack, and this was recommended to me by someone who they had fitted a Webasto, but they said it still didn't really get enough heat into the engine block, you see. So what they did is they on the thermostat housing there is the temperature sender unit, and that the resistance of that changes with temperature. So what you can do is switch in a set resistance, probably about 10 kiloohms, and that will make the car think it's -5 when it's actually +5. Okay, so then it will turn on the glow plugs, it will inject more fuel and do all the things it needs to do to start on a colder morning, and the engine will start. Now that is not an alternative to getting the Webasto working. Still got to get the Webasto working, but it's a quick workaround to sort of avoid any issues between now and the point where the Webasto is actually done. Even when the Webasto's done, I'll probably need that as well. Okay, because the Webasto, as powerful as it is, about 5 kilowatts, it can actually take probably about half an hour to really heat the engine up, the engine block, big cast iron engine block. That's going to take some heating. Okay, so I have been recommended to do that as well as getting the Webasto working. As well as all that, I need to do a bit more rust proofing The rust isn't too bad under my car. The amount of oil leaking over the years has kept the rust at bay, but right up the back there is a bit of rust. So there is some. I noticed the other day, I saw a picture on Facebook, somebody took, I think, this panel off here or something, and there was a load of rust there, and you look at mine, it is a bit brown in there. There is a bit of rust staining. Okay, so it doesn't look too bad, but I need to deal with that before it gets any worse. So I bought the new rubber strips, and I bought some of this stuff. So we've all heard of Lano Guard. Okay, so this is made of lanolin, which is sort of sheep wool juice. It's the oil that comes out of sheep wool. This is Lano Shield. Very, very similar. Okay, you paint it on, and it's a kind of, they do a liquid and a kind of grease. Okay, this mob here, Lano Shield, actually do an aerosol version as well, which is really nice, because then you can really kind of spray that into the hard to reach places and areas where you just can't get in with a paintbrush. The best thing of all about Lano Shield is that it doesn't smell of sheep. Yeah, I can't smell any sheep. Okay, Lano Guard absolutely stinks. Okay, so if you are avoiding using Lano Guard because of the smell, consider Lano Shield. Whether or not it works as well as or better, I don't know. I'll give it a go. Saw this advertised on Facebook or Instagram, and I thought, well, I'll try that. So I placed an order, and I've actually got 4. I ordered I think it's a litre of the grease, because it's always nice to be able to paint that on the chassis and the subframe and things. And they sent me 4 250ml tubs. So I think there is a bigger tub available, but I think they possibly sold out of that big one, so they just sent me 4 of the small ones. So I'll give it a go. I'll do a video on that and see if it works. As well as buying that lot, I also saw this advertised. This is Long Life Tyre Shine. Okay, so I always use the Turtle Wax tyre spray waxy stuff. Okay, I've been using that for years, and it's very expensive. I think Halfords charge about 7 or 8 quid for a little spray thing. When I do the tyres and I do all the trim and I do all this, and I get a bit carried away with it, I have to admit, doing all the mud flaps and everything. It's great stuff, but I can use an entire bottle of that on one car wash. So I saw this big 5 litre thing, and this is long life as well. So apparently you put this on and things stay shiny. The tyres, the trim and everything else stays shiny for a long time. I haven't used it yet, so that'll be an interesting video, just to see if that's any better than the Halfords stuff. Maybe I'll get a bottle of the Halfords stuff and I'll do 1 tyre in Halfords, 1 tyre in that, because you can pour that into a spray bottle, you see. You can paint it on or put it on with a rag if you want to, but the idea is I think you use that as like a refill for a spray bottle. So I'll do 1 tyre with one with the other, and then we'll just see which one goes dull and faded first. Okay, that is it. I don't know how long this has gone on for. It's probably not 20 minutes. So that's it, vlog 8. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.